Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another first look into Production Line. This game I discovered a couple of days ago. It is very early access, it is not on Steam yet. Things like the GUI and music are placeholders, a lot of the features aren't fleshed out, it is not balanced, etc, etc. But keeping that in mind, I also did some background research and I figured out that Cliff Harris is involved in this project. If you don't know who he is, he was also responsible for the game A Democracy 3. Anyways, what is Production Line about? Essentially, we are building cars and selling them in a Big Pharma style, if you know the Big Pharma game. In order to exemplify that, we are gonna create a new game and we are gonna go for the Mega Factory right away. We can actually have a look into the edit menu, and right here you can see we have several zones, some of which are unlocked, some of which we have to unlock. But also there are import and export slots, and that's what I meant with Big Pharma. That's exactly how they've done it. Green means you can import materials and resources, and red means you can export entire cars and sell them. In between, of course, a lot has to go on, and if we wanted, we could fiddle around with the design a little bit here, add more import slots, etc. as we please. However, we're gonna leave it at the default. We're gonna set up the new game and play the mission, so I can show you what this game is about. This is our area. You can see it's pretty big. I think this corner right here is actually a good place to start. We got an import slot right here and an export slot right there. So that's where we want to import the resources, add a couple of assembly lines in between, and then throw out the entire car in the end to sell it. Now, how does this game deal with the assembly? Let's have a look into the build menu right here, and it's actually called slots. So that is a little bit of a confusing name for it, but that's fine. So let's try to understand this menu first of all. Right here we have the conveyor-like things, and as of the chassis assembly, this is where the modules come in. So here I could, for instance, build an entire chassis assembly, or later on in the game I can actually research more stuff and do the parts individually. So I could fit the axles, later on I can even make the axles, instead of doing it all in one step. And this of course gives me more flexibility to, for instance, add upgrades to various parts or make the general assembly much faster. In the beginning we don't have the research, so we have to do it all in one go. So let's actually go ahead and add the chassis assembly right here. That seems to be a good spot. The next thing we would have to do is fit the body, and right here you can see in the tooltip how many steps are actually involved in that, and all of these steps you can do individually later on. First of all, we have to do them all in one go. I want to leave about 2 spaces free in between the modules, so later on I can actually set up multiple of these things and still don't get into troubles with my conveyor lines. Right, after fitting the body, we want to paint the vehicle, of course. Then we want to go ahead and fit the engine right there, and of course we shall not forget about the accessories right here. For our first car we don't have to fit any electronics because we basically don't have them, but we have to do a quality check, which we are gonna do right here, I think. Yeah. Alright, so we have our setup right here. You can see we have a couple of errors, of course. They have no access to the resources required, and what we can do about that is add a resource importer at one of those slots. We want to choose the resource conveyor and then bring them to the red spots right there. So I would assume we can go along here. That would be the easiest thing to do. All the way up to this point. Right here we're gonna bring it over here, and then this one goes, let me see, actually here. And we got one more over there. Beautiful. Okay. If I unpause the game now, what we should be seeing is materials going to the respective locations, and then the machines are gonna start to assemble. Right here, this module, the chassis assembly, doesn't require any previous parts. It just requires the axles, the drive shafts, the fuel tanks, and the undercarriage, but it doesn't require anything before it, where for instance the next module module, the fit body, will already deal with what you built in the previous module. In order to make this happen, we are going to build a conveyor belt all the way up to the next module. And as soon as we are done here with the first vehicle, let's actually see, yeah, it's almost done. And we are fitting the fuel tank at the moment. You can see how many steps are actually involved. And as soon as that's done, the chassis should continue to the next step, which is fitting the body. And right here we can see there are a ton of tasks actually to do so. We're also collecting the materials at the moment, and we are fitting the roll cage, etc, etc, fitting the hood. And here we have all of the materials that we need for that. So this is pretty cool. I love the detail in all of this. One more thing is I can actually scroll back a little bit in order to get different information. So right now I can, for instance, see that this part here, the chassis from the first module, is still waiting while the second module, the fit body, is added. So the fit body is clearly slower than the chassis assembly. We can even see that here. This takes 14 minutes, and if I click this bad boy, it takes 35 minutes. So we're gonna need at least 2 fit bodies to accommodate one chassis assembly. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and continue the production line. We're gonna go towards the paint shop. After that, we're gonna do fit engine, and then we're gonna fit the accessories, and last but not least, we're gonna do a quality check. So right now this car is going in, and this is also taking a while, 38 minutes actually. That's something we will have to keep in mind. The next module is the fit engine, also takes 30 minutes. This module here takes 15 minutes. Fitting accessories, yeah, such as the lights and the seats, I think. And then this one here is just taking 5 minutes, the quality check. So it's unlikely we will have to add another quality check. Okay, we can actually see drying the car takes a long time. We will have to have a lot of paint jobs in order to make this assembly line smooth. But there we go, we are done with the car, and we got a blue or turquoise car, or teal, whatever you want to call it. And right now we are fitting the engine. There are also a lot of steps to take, you know, all of these things we can do individually later on. I just want to emphasize that. Okay, there we go. We are done with fitting the engine. Let's continue. This one here is fitting accessories. First of all, the lights. I'm just going through this once so you know what's actually happening, because later on we're gonna be at a very fast speed and everything is gonna be a little bit undetailed. Fitting the horn, fitting the seats, I love it. And also you can actually visually see when they place something on the car. It's kind of crazy. Okay, windscreen, yeah, there we go. You just saw the windscreen actually being attached. And now we are doing the quality check, which shouldn't take very long. Great, so after the quality check, of course, we have to bring the vehicle back. So let's see what we can do about that. I want to go here, and I want to go back to this exit slot, or maybe this one here might be more convenient. Yeah, let's actually do this one here. I want to make sure that I draw the conveyor in the way I want the cars to go. So I cannot draw backwards, otherwise it's gonna be confused. Also, I want to get rid of that and hook this up again. Beautiful. Then we want to go ahead and use an export slot right there, and this should make the car go out. We will have to give it a name, and then we can set a price in order to sell it. Come on, there we go. Exporting actually also takes 4.5 minutes. But there we go, we got our first basic car with Q&A. Wow, okay, that's an additional $120. We're gonna call it the Satana. Or no, let's go with Natana. Anyways, we want to set the price. I think 16,000 is not what I want to go for. Let's try maybe something around 25,000 to begin with. Yeah, should be good. Let's go a little bit below. Yeah, there we go. Just, you know, the psychology trick, and we're gonna save the car. We can adjust the price later on as we please. But there we go, we're basically done with the first principle of this game, which is building a car. Now it's time to have a look at the research and also the power actually. But first we need the research in order to discover power even. I think I'm gonna set up the research right here. Yeah, that might be a good idea. We're gonna start right here and we're gonna click this bad boy and show all research. You can see there is quite a bit of research in there. You will discover the research quite quickly though, especially if you set up a bunch of labs. But the first thing I want to discover is the power production, of course, because we would be having problems with that the entire time. We are also gonna speed things up a little bit, and we're probably gonna remain in this mode for the most part of the game. Now we still have over $2 million, so I would say we're gonna go ahead and add additional fit body units. I can add one of them right here. I also want to set up another paint shop over there. I know that we will have a backlog here as well. Then we want to hook them up with the conveyors like that and go back here so they can actually go to the beginning of the line, and then depending on which unit here is free, they can freely decide where to go. So something along these lines. Beautiful. We still have to hook it up to the stockpile, of course, so we shall do that underground. No, it's actually not underground, it's overground. You get the basic gist. Also, I would say we're gonna add a couple more research offices since we have the resources, you know, the big money. I'm gonna add at least 4 of them for now. Okay, now looking at this, you can see we are still producing more chassis than we can actually use in the fit body unit. We will have to add more fit body units. I think 3 should be enough, and then maybe 2 fit engine units as well, because I mean they take 30 minutes as well. We will see. For now, I just want to see that we can make a little bit of money. Right now we are doing the quality check with this car and selling more. We can actually see how fast it is being sold. This car, for instance, right there is now in the stock, and as soon as it's being sold, it's going to be removed again. So if this number goes up very high, your car is probably too expensive, and if it is always at 0, it's probably not expensive enough. Yeah, look at that. We just sold another 2 cars again. That is pretty good, I would say. Let's go ahead and add more of these fit body guys. Yeah, I want to add one more here and one more paint, and then we're gonna add one more fit engine as well. We do have the resources, no problemo. There we go. Everything is hooked up to the resources. We only have to do the conveyor belts. Come on, there we go. Oh, the research is actually completed. Let's go ahead and research something else. I think right now I want to go for more robots. This is going to be especially useful in order to speed up our modules. Also, I was rudely interrupted here. I wanted to build another conveyor like that and that. Not so sure what is happening. Are we still not fast enough with the fit body? No, there we go. We are filling up all of the paint shops. That is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Good. I would say now we should be taking care of our power. You can see we have been in the red the entire time, and now that we have researched it, we can build a power plant. And since I don't intend to use this export slot, I think I'm just gonna build the power plant over there. Let's add about 4 of them as well. We can actually see, no, we're gonna need a lot more than 4, but what we can do is actually upgrade them as soon as we have researched the power plant efficiency, obviously. So I guess this only leaves us with placing more of these guys until we fit our power demands. There we go, we are at 20,000, just one more module should be doing the trick. Another research is completed. We are gonna go with even more robots. So now what we should be able to do is click on this bad boy, then choose an upgrade and buy this extra robot. Now, one thing I want to show you is if you look right here, we have 2 robots at the moment. If I choose the upgrade, then you can see 1 additional has been placed. So this is so great that everything is visually represented here. I just adore details like that. We can do the same thing with these modules. Of course, we also want to make them faster. So we're gonna click each one individually and upgrade these guys. Now, there are no upgrades for the paint shop directly, but you can research like faster drying and faster painting or something along these lines. Let's also upgrade the fit engine, and there we go, with 1 extra robot. This one here, we can actually also upgrade. Yeah, the fit accessories, but this one here, the quality check has no upgrades. Okay, so our biggest backlog at the moment is right here with fitting the engine. That is actually surprising. Do I need 3 of those modules? It takes, okay, it also takes 27 minutes. Let's add one more in this case. I'm gonna add the conveyor belt over there, and of course we need to hook it up to the resources. Never forget that. Great, so at the moment we can see a lot of insufficient resources popping up. I'm not sure if that is the case because we only have 1 import slot. I would would imagine this could be the reason. So one thing we could do, for instance, is add another resource importer over here and just lead this over there, so it can also help supply all of the machines. In the meantime, we are going down with the power again. Maybe let's add one more power plant just to be sure. Another research has been completed. We're gonna do the robots galore all the way. So we have all of these upgrades, and as soon as we build another building, we can always choose all of the upgrades. So I'm actually gonna wait for that research to be done, and what I'm also gonna do is potentially add more research offices, to be honest with you. Yeah, I want to add 1, 2, 3, and 4 more research offices, so we have research points per second of 2. And that of course also means we are gonna have to add more power plants. Okay, we are at 1 million at the moment. Let's see, our cars are selling fine. Let's maybe go up with the price slightly. We're gonna go all the way to 25,800. And it's looking pretty good, I have to say. Now we are having troubles with the fitting of the accessories, so we are gonna compensate for that with another module, no problem. And a conveyor belt and a resource conveyor over there. Great, look at that. I'm pretty happy about what we have so far. It seems to be going smoothly. I don't understand. Okay, it did fill up the first fitting accessories as well. I think we don't need another quality check. This seems quite balanced this way. Good, we have researched all of the robotic upgrades. Let's go ahead and do the improved efficiency. That's gonna be very, very useful in the end. But what we have to do now is basically upgrade all of the modules to perfection. The upgrades aren't that expensive, you just have to go through all of them. I kind of wish there was a button to just upgrade them all, but that is fine. We cannot do anything about the paint. We can upgrade this bad boy with more robots, and if we actually zoom closer, you can see there are now many robots responsible for all the work. We actually got our next research project. Let's do faster drying, so these modules are also going faster. If you remember, we cannot purchase bots for those. Okay, there we go. I think I upgraded all of the modules. That means we are making plus at the moment. If we look at these graphs, I think, yeah, income is a little bit higher than expenses. Do we have loans? No, but we can accept loans. That's interesting. Did we sell 67 cars already? Maybe we did. That would be crazy. Faster drying is also already completed. We're gonna do the turbo drying, I guess, or maybe import priorities so we can import faster resources. We're gonna do the power plant efficiency. I wanted that. But guys, we've gone through the basics of the game. What I want to show you is now the more complicated stuff. Well, it's not extremely complicated, but you can do extremely complex things. You know, you can set up factories for everything. You can set up stockpiles and send materials over there in order to refine them at a different place, etc, etc. I'm pretty happy with my money-making machine at the moment, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add more and more research offices, so we are researching stuff a lot faster. There we go, we are researching at 3.75 per second, and of course we're going at the fastest speed at the moment. We got the power plant efficiency. That means we could go for something else along these lines. We're gonna do the turbo drying, but also now we can actually upgrade our power plants just like that. Okay guys, so of course we could just go through all of this stuff and play along, but I think I want to wrap up this video with a test file that I've created last night when I prepared for this video, and I just want to show you what's possible. Don't expect too much, my factory isn't a masterpiece or something. I just wanted to test out the features. So let's go ahead and have a look into the menu. We're gonna load up my Nathan test file. Let's do that. Alright, here we go. We got basically the same factory. It is a little bit bigger than the one we started with. It's just basically doubled the size so that I make more money. Also, I unlocked all of the things here, which was a mistake because I do lose money now because I have to pay so much rent and everything. it's not a pleasure. However, in this file I have unlocked all of the research, and therefore we also have access to basically everything. And then I set up an assembly line right here. Now this is not how you want to do it. I just wanted to have everything placed down basically and see how it interacts with each other. So as you can see, for instance, here we are doing the entire chassis. However, we're doing that in individual steps. For instance, we are fitting the front axle first. However, we need to make the axle first, so that's why I have this factory set up right here next to it. The make axle thing will have to be fed by these imports, and then it's gonna export to the fit front axle and fit rear axle, I would presume. Then we got some drive shafts that are being stored here. That is also great. We are continuing with the undercarriage, the fuel tank, etc, etc. And then for certain modules you actually have upgrades. Also, I like the way it's set up. You can actually place the factories almost like a little Tetris minigame. As you can see, they all have different shapes, and then you just try to find the best setup so you can smoosh everything together. In this case though, you can see that a lot of these modules here in the front are much faster than the ones in the back. It's actually this one here which is clogging up everything, I think. Yeah, what is this? Fit windows. That takes a long time. It takes 2 minutes 25 seconds, where the module before that takes even longer. Okay, I'm not sure where it actually goes wrong, but obviously you would have to have multiple setups for certain parts. You can also upgrade all of these things individually. So fit the front axle, I can configure the imports. Right here I set to prefer the local materials. You can see for how long it's waiting in the line. So most of the time this thing is waiting for the machines in front of it to be done with their load. We also have a couple of upgrades which I of course installed. Oh, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you some upgrades. So maybe with the tires we have additional upgrades that could be, yeah, for instance, the tire pressure sensors. You don't have to install that, but if you do, then you can make your car a little bit more expensive. So just like in Big Pharma, where you made different sorts of medicine, in here you make different kinds of cars with different features. But yeah, that's basically it. Here you can see I'm making all of the parts. Right here I'm, for instance, making the door. All I require is steel sheets. And somewhere along these lines I'm actually producing the steel sheets. You can see they are coming along here. Yeah, this part here, this module is responsible for building the sheets, and it itself requires steel, which I do believe we should be getting from imports such as these. Yeah, you can see this is busy the entire time. But that is the basic idea of this game. You want to make different cars, you don't want to expand too quickly because, yeah, you will lose money eventually. Though, didn't we start with 7 million? I'm not sure. Are we making plus or minus? Sometimes I'm confused, but I have a couple of cars in the waiting line. You can see I'm selling them for 18,000, and the everything too I'm selling for 26,000 at the moment. Okay, so I think with that out of the way, I was able to give you a good impression of the game in its current state. Don't forget that it is a very early access version. If you want to grab it yourself, you can actually do that on their website, which I have linked in the description. It currently costs about 10 euros or so, and if you purchase it, you will be getting a Steam key and access to all the future versions, so no problemo. If you want to wait, I'm sure there are gonna be a lot of cool features in the future, and I hope this game can develop to its full potential. But yeah, check this out. Oh man, so much going on, so much going on. I just love it. Pretty cool concept, I would say. Let me know what you think about the game in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, have a great time, and hopefully I'm going to catch you in the next video. Bye bye.